Hey YouTube, it's Southern Prepper 2. I know it's been a little while since I brought you the last sniper video and long range shooting video. I've been really busy and covered up, but I had some time today, so here's the next one. We're going to talk about ballistics 101. We're going to just talk about just the basics, the terminology of it, so you can start to grasp the concept of it. What is ballistics? Ballistics is a science dealing with the motion and flight characteristics of a projectiles. So we're talking about the flight of the bullet, what that bullet is doing in the air, what that bullet is doing before it leaves the barrel, what's that bullet doing when it gets to the target. So that's what we're talking about with ballistics. Okay, so first we're going to talk about muzzle velocity. Muzzle velocity is the speed of the bullet, and when we're talking about muzzle velocity, we are measuring it in feet per second, FPS, feet per second. Okay, and a lot can go into the velocity, the muzzle velocity of a rifle. Ammo type and lot number. Every lot number is going to be different. Every round that is loaded is going to be slightly different. The temperature outside, that's going to play a big role in that muzzle velocity. The altitude, that's going to play a role in there as well. You might have 3 rifles of the same make, model, everything. And each one of those rifles is going to have a different muzzle velocity, just slightly. So there's no set number for that. You're going to have to know your specific rifle with your specific ammo that you're shooting with it. That's how you're going to get your muzzle velocity. So there's no, I can't give you the answer for your rifle on that. Next we're going to talk about time of flight. Okay, how long does it take for that bullet to reach the target? That's going to come into a big role with moving targets later on, knowing how long it's going to take that round to reach it. Next we're going to talk about retained velocity. So the speed of the bullet when it gets to the target, because that bullet's going to have a lot of factors slowing it down and taking the velocity away from that bullet. So how much velocity does it have when it gets there? Your bullet's going to have more velocity at, say, 100 meters than at 1,000 meters. So you're going to need to know the retained velocity of that bullet. Let me change whiteboards real quick. Here we go. Let's get the next one set up. Okay. Bullet drop. Okay. That's the vertical distance between the line of departure and the point of impact. And I got a diagram down below that I'm going to show you, all these ones on this board right here. So we'll dig into that deeper at the bottom. We have line of sight, line of departure, trajectory, maximum ordinate or mid-range trajectory. Okay, so let's take a look and dive into these down here with my little picture. Okay, so we got a little rifle scope and we got a target out here. So the first one I want to talk about is going to be line of sight, okay, which is going to be this red line right here I have drawn out. I put LOS, just line of sight. Line of sight is the straight line from your eye, looking through your optics, your scope, straight to the target. It's the straight line that you're looking at through your scope. Okay, that's your line of sight. Okay, next we're going to talk about line of departure. Okay, this blue line, line of departure. Okay, so imagine your rifle, you have a laser in your rifle instead of a bullet, and it's shooting a laser beam out. That laser beam is going to shoot straight. It's going to just keep going straight. Without gravity, when you pull the trigger, your bullet would just keep going straight. But with gravity, it affects that bullet. It's going to pull it towards Earth. Okay, so this line of departure is where your bore is lined up with. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is your trajectory, and it's this green line here. So your bullet's going to come out and it's going to follow the blue line at first until all the effects start to play onto that bullet, and gravity is going to start pulling it away from that blue line. It's going to start pulling it down. Okay, it's going to pull it down into your target. So with that trajectory, it's not going to follow the blue line. If there was no gravity, it would. If there was no effects on that bullet, it would. So with the gravity, it's going to pull it down, and you're going to get this arc. It's going to cause this arc in your flight into your target here. Okay, so when we're talking about the bullet drop, we need to know how much drop is going to come off your line of departure down to your target. So if we know, just theoretically, let's just say my bullet's going to drop 100 inches. To hit this target out here at 800 meters, you're going to need to aim 100 inches above it, so the gravity will pull your bullet down to hit your target. Okay, so there's a lot that goes into this. You also need to know your maximum ordnance, which is going to be the highest point on this arc. Okay, so right here, just theoretically, let's say from your line of sight, your straight line, that bullet's going to go up 53 inches above this line of sight here. Say that's as high as that bullet's going to go to get to your 800 meters. You have to know this number if you're shooting through any type of loopholes, under bridges, through windows, that sort of stuff. Because if you have some sort of overhead cover here, sitting right here, but you can see your target, and you pull that trigger, that bullet's going to hit that overhead cover. It's not going to make it to your target because it does this big arc to get to your target. So you have to know at what distance is the highest point your bullet's going to go. And I cannot give you any of these numbers because every rifle, every caliber is different. You can get a base line. A lot of manuals have them, a lot of TMs off the internet. You can get a baseline for your caliber and your rifle setup, which will get you close. It'll get you started in the right direction. But really, to gather all this information, you need to go out to the range and you need to track every shot to be able to compile a data book for every shot you take. So this is just a fast run through of this. This is more just to get you familiar with the terminology with it. But you really need to just make sure you pay attention, and if you don't get anything else out of this, your line of departure, your trajectory, and your line of sight. Those are going to be your three main if you don't get anything else from this. Understand those three lines and how they work together with each other. And in future videos, we'll dig into this a lot deeper and get more detailed on it. But you got to understand this before we can start doing formulas and shooting through loopholes, high angle shooting, and that sort of stuff as well. So I know it's been a while since I've done a video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys want something in particular, go ahead and put those down in the comments. That way I can start working up classes for it. So drop your ideas down below, and we'll be back onto the ghillie suit build soon too. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.